Hey everybody, welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to your post-match pint, brought to you by the Mad Squirrel at the Mad Squirrel. Outside today, a little bit nippy. Sam, wow, I tell you what, if we did this after Bristol City, I think the tone of this would be a little bit different. But how you getting on first off, mate?
I'm all right, mate, yeah. It's always enjoyable, the Christmas period. A lot of uni work now, final year, home run. But tell you what, Watford are doing all right, so that's really getting me through at the moment, as well as this pint of sumo outside the Mad Squirrel.
Pint of sumo, I've gone for a pint of sumo as well. Can't beat it. I think it's probably the best on the menu. Having said that, today there was a special offer of Hornets pint for £4, and I think that was done pre-match. Great atmosphere in here pre-match. So make sure you do get down here to the Mad Squirrel. We finished Watford 1, Stoke City 1. Sam, is that point gained or point dropped? First off,
I think there's two ways of looking at it. I think in the context of the match itself, I think it's definitely a point gained. I think ultimately Stoke were playing with 12 players. The referee was completely on their side. I'm hearing it was a red card for Bio, but other than that, I think every 50-50 went the way of Stoke. A lot of fouls were given that weren't fouls, and that was really frustrating. And I think the character, commitment and drive of this Watford team really shone today, to be honest with you. And I'm really, really proud of the team after that point. In the context of the season, coming out of the Bristol City game and the game against Stoke with 1 point, I don't think is good enough. After winning those 2 away games away at Preston and Blackburn, coming out those 2 home games, I think 1 point, I think is slightly disappointing and a bit anticlimactic as well, because I think we were all gearing up for sort of this playoff charge now in the second half of the season, but I think the last 2 games have really taken us back down to earth.
10th in the league now, Sam. I mean, look, I'm seeing it as a point gain in the circumstances. I think you said to me pre-match we'd draw 1-1 to Stoke. I probably wouldn't have taken that. I think having seen Stoke play as well, I didn't think they were particularly great. I think if 11 men had been on the pitch, it could have definitely been a different story. Let's take it back to the lineup. A couple of changes. What was your initial reaction when the lineup came out, Sam?
I was happy to see Bio back in the team. I know he eventually got sent off, which we'll come on to. It was interesting to see James Morris back at left back. I thought it would be Ken Sema, but he was ruled out today with an injury. Tom Daly still at right back as well was really interesting. So, look, I think I was happy with the lineup at the time, to be honest with you. Interesting calls in there. Imran Loser on the bench as well, which is really interesting after the week that he's had. But yeah, I was happy with it. I don't think any player out there today, other than Bio, will touch on that red card, really did a bad job out there. I think everyone gave their all, gave 100%. I keep on talking about the intangibles and how every single player out there is really giving their all, playing for the badge at the moment. And the performance levels from last season have been up massively, particularly with the effort. But I think the only one other than Bio, I think they can all be really happy with their performance today.
Yeah, I think when you look at it from the outside and you look at some of the Watford performances today, standouts for me, I thought Porteous had a good game at centre back. I then look into midfield. I thought Jake Livermore's first off obviously got the goal. Sam was good. I thought Chatford looked bright, making some really, really good runs. I mean, his role changed in the second half. He drifted out to the left. And then you maybe look at the forward areas. I thought Spear, before he got taken off, played well. We'll touch on that first goal, Sam. Livermore, set piece. Who got the flick on?
I think it was Porteous.
Porteous with the flick on. Assist for the man. I genuinely thought he was one of our best players today, Porteous, genuinely. Jake Livermore's getting his name sung around Vicarage Road. Jake Livermore. He deserved that, actually, I think, after his recent performances, doesn't he, Jake Livermore?
100%. I just want to say firstly about the goal. Set piece coach FC now, aren't we? Since this new set piece coach has come in from Tottenham, I think we've looked a lot better, taking and defending as well. I don't want to jinx it going into the Plymouth game on New Year's Day, but I think finally we've scored from a set piece, which has been really, really good. It was one that was clearly worked on in the training round. The flick on at the back post and the run from Livermore to tap it in was absolutely brilliant to see. Really happy for Livermore. Been one of our best players this season. Who would have thought a year ago we'd be sat here going Jake Livermore's been one of our best players, but look, he's proved me wrong. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong. I think you were the only one, to be honest with you, who backed Livermore come the start of the season. Yeah, he's been excellent, to be honest with you, and I thought he was great today again, and the goal just capped it off.
I think the one thing about Livermore, he facilitates the other 2 centre midfielders, doesn't he? When he plays well, it feels like the other 2 midfielders could free up a little bit more. And I think you saw that with Chatford today, and I thought we mentioned about his performances coming off the bench. There was reports that he feels like he's not getting enough game time. Val trusted him today. He's rotated the team obviously with the Christmas period. How impressed were you with him today? Because I thought what he did well in a couple of different positions. First off with central midfielder, but then in the second half, we know he could play on the left and cutting. And when we got down to 10 men, it seemed like he got into the game a bit more as well.
I really like Georgie in the middle. I think he needs to track back a bit more and support defensively a bit. But I think he's playing with a point to prove. Like you say, there were reports that he perhaps wants to move on in January and find a new club, which... All right, I think he could have done a bit more in the first half of the season to stake a claim to be playing, but I think now he is doing that, and he's playing with a point to prove, and his performances are improving. The last 2 games, the goal against Bristol City, I know we lost that game, but again today, I thought he earned that start and was absolutely brilliant. So fair play to Georgie, and I hope he keeps it up.
So first half, Sam, we've gone into the break at 1-1. How did you feel going into half time? Because again, both goals were probably soft from the defensive point of view in the sense that Stoke have conceded from a set piece. We've conceded where I thought it was offside initially. I've been told it wasn't by my Twitter followers. I put the tweet out and I was thinking, oh, please tell me it was offside. It wasn't. Soft goal to concede, fair to say, Sam.
I don't want to dig too much into Tom Daly because I think what's important to say is in the second half, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch in the second half. But that's the problems of him playing at right back. I think he was too easily exposed. Saying that, second half, I thought Tom Daly, like I say, absolutely brilliant, particularly in that midfield role. On the ball, so good. Off it, so good as well. Offering, showing for the ball. So, fair play to Tom for picking it up in that second half. But yeah, like you say, really soft goal to concede. Really disappointing. I was just almost praying when we got to 30, 35 minutes, going just take it in at 1-0, going into the second half and go from there. But I think what happened when we conceded that first goal was, I think, Watford, everyone's heads went, pretty much. I think we weren't controlling the ball. We weren't passing it well at all. Valerian Ismail got booked. I think his head went on the side as well. We saw right at the end of the half, Jake Livermore got booked for a pretty reckless tackle as well, which at the time I was actually quite worried. But I haven't seen it back yet, but I'm sure it was just the yellow card. I think everyone's heads went, and I think it probably came at a good time. I think that takes us on to the red card because it doesn't shock me that we did get one.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. I mean, we went into the break at 1-1. We've come out in the 53rd, 54th minute. Bio's a little bit of an altercation with the Stoke player. It seems at first glance that it was a little bit of an off-the-ball incident. From what I've seen back, it looks like an elbow off the ball. Sam, I think the thing is, some people will argue it's soft. I've seen it again. Some people would argue it's soft. I think from my perspective, though, it's giving the referee a decision to make, and there was no need to really even initiate the contact with the Stoke player. How did you see it?
I think it's a red card. I couldn't really see it in the ground, but I've seen it back now. And I think the problem is you're giving the referee a decision to make, even if the contact's not the cleanest in terms of the elbow or the kick out, he's still making that contact or trying to, which I think is very problematic. And it's a shame because Bio, I think, is someone who has offered us so much recently. Now we're without him for the next 3 games, which I think he's let himself down, and I think ultimately today, I don't want to dig into players too much, but he's let the team down. Because I think with 11 men on the pitch, we win that game, to be honest with you. I thought the character and the heart was all there, but with 10 men, it's very difficult to win that game.
And Stoke didn't really impose themselves on the game, and even when they went down to 10 men, it didn't feel like Stoke offered a lot more than we did.
No, I think Stoke will be kicking themselves, to be honest with you. I think that was a clear opportunity. They had 30, 35 minutes there with playing against 10 men to get 3 points, and they didn't. So look, I think they'll be really, really disappointed today. But yeah, it's a red card for me from what I've seen back, and it's really disappointing from Bayer.
I think with one of those incidents, Sam, you flip it and you think, if a Stoke player did that to one of our players, we'd be wanting a red card. And I think Bio can't really have any complaints in that respect. He's given the referee a decision to make. Who had a shocking game on the night. He lost complete control of the game. I think it was his first championship game at this level as well. It's something to bear in mind. He had a stinker. There's no doubt about it. But when this referee does have a stinker like that, you cannot give him the opportunity to make decisions. The Stoke players have surrounded him. At 54 minutes, Sam, I'm thinking to myself, we're going to have to go 40 minutes and keep it tight. And we managed to. But we offered something going forward as well. I think what helped that was the substitutions, right? If I can remember on the top of my head, Andrews came on at right wing, Ciarauta came on, Pollock came on, who else? Rivich came on, obviously with Bio coming off at striker. There was one more, I think we made all 5, didn't we? Kembe
came on, yeah.
His substitutions, Val, and that's the one thing since he's come to this football club I've noticed the decision making off the bench. I thought he got it right there. He got it right. Some people would argue maybe a bit safe, but I think when you're down to 10 men, first thing you've got to do, consolidate the point, and he did that.
I think so, yeah. If you're not going to win the game, don't lose it. Charlie, who I sat with tonight, was very frustrated with the subs. I think he wanted to see us a bit more attacking. I think Stoke were there for the taking, to be honest with you. But that's where it goes back, I think, to Bio letting the team down tonight, to be honest. I think shout out to all the subs. I thought they were all excellent tonight. Rajovic was a bit quiet, but all the others, Sierralta, Matty Pollock particularly. I thought Pollock was absolutely brilliant when he came on. Ryan Andrews back to his best again, and KMB as well, getting in there, winning the ball back. So fair play to all of them. I think bringing the subs in as well brought the best out of other players. Like I said before, I think Tondelli, we saw the best of him when the subs happened as well, and he was a bit more freed up in the middle of the park. But it's just frustrating because particularly seeing the fresh legs come on, if we have 11 men on the pitch and we're able to make those subs at 60, 70 minutes, we win that game, which I think in my head, I know we said at the start, is at one point getting 2 points dropped. It sort of makes me think maybe we did drop 2 points tonight.
I think if you said before the game it's 2 points dropped, I think in the circumstances of the game, I think it's probably a point gained. And the reason I say it's a point gained is because of two huge saves from Ben Hamer. The first of which he made himself really, really big coming out of his box. The second one was a sort of snapshot across to his left-hand side, which he's tipped over the post. Sam Adams, what a man. Ben Hamer making big saves again, Sam. I mean, he saved us a point there, I think it's fair to say, in terms of them, especially in that moment in the game. I think it was midway through the second half.
Brilliant. Yet again, Ben Hamer, absolutely excellent, saving Watford points like he has done for so many games so far this season. I think Watford have a big decision to make in January in terms of, I think we can assume Dan Backman will leave or look to leave the club. But if we do look to bring in a new goalkeeper, is it a backup to Ben Hamer or is it someone to come in and start? It's a really interesting dilemma.
What do you think?
At the moment, I don't think you can drop Ben Hamer. I think it's incredibly harsh. I think his distribution is a lot better than Batman's, but it could be improved at the same time. But he's just making huge saves every single week. I think the best way to sum it up is that Preston 5-1 away win, he was our best player on the pitch, because without him we lose that game 4-5-0. So look, huge credit to Ben Hamer. He's come in, he's done absolutely brilliantly, and tonight again saved us that point. Big
saves for Ben Hamer. Wanted to touch a little bit on Rajovic, Sam. There's a lot been made about his performance against Bristol City, which was almost anonymous, wasn't really in the game at all. Some would argue some his fault, some it not getting the service. But then you look at today, he's come off the bench. Val made the change to bring him back on. What have you made of that chat at the moment? Because people are saying Bio over Rajovic, people are saying Healy over Bio over Rajovic. Where do you put him in that pecking order?
It's again where Bio's let himself down today, because the debate's now a case of, I mean, Healy's injured as well, so it's literally just Rajovic now. A striker's got to come in January, to be honest with you. I don't think Rajovic has done enough. It's weird saying that, considering he scored 7 or 8 goals for Watford this season.
He's our top goal scorer.
I do like him off the bench. But I don't think he's done enough at all to start games. I don't think he offers us enough off the ball. I don't think he's aggressive enough. I don't think he wins enough headers or challenges. And I think when he doesn't play, I think Watford look like a better team, to be honest. I don't know if that's harsh on him, but I think particularly off the ball, Watford look a lot better when Bio's playing. He's now out for 3 games, and look, I think we're going to have to look for someone who, in a way, is a bit of a combination between Bio and Rajovic. We're going to have to look for someone who has the ability to score like Rajovic, that sort of the way he can score 7 or 8 goals so far this season, and someone who can press like Bio, almost a combination of the two. Maybe that's Reece Healy. We haven't seen enough of him yet, but I think a striker's a must in January.
Do you know what? This is the thing though, Sam. I'd be surprised to see Healy stay beyond January. I think he'll be looking at this going, I've come back from my injury, I need to be playing regular first team football. I think my thoughts on Rajovic is one of, if he doesn't score, what is he offering? And I know people say, well, that's the job of a striker, but I don't think in teams now, in the modern game, you can afford to have a player who just scores. He needs to offer more. He needs to link up play. He needs to get involved a bit more. I just find he's always a little bit, his anticipation isn't there. He's not really in the game as much. And you almost think if Bio's off the ball work was in Rajovic's, you'd almost have a really good striker there. But I think you're right, Sam. If we could bring someone in January, that could make a big difference. He's now going to have to play. He's now going to have to play going forward. The one thing I would say, if we're going to play him going forward, which we have to now really, because Val's not going to play Healy, inverted wingers. That's my frustration. That's one criticism of Val today. When you have Rajovic on the pitch, he almost would have been better starting, because you have L'Esprit on the left, you had Martins on the right, who would get into the byline and cutting balls in. I feel like that almost suits Rajovic's game a bit more, rather than when he comes on, we've got L'Esprit coming from the right, Martins from the left, even Chatford-Datsy from the left cutting in. Did you spot that? Because that was one thing for me. I'm like, that suits his game. Wingers get into the byline, cutting back. You look at, for example, the Birmingham game. That header, that comes from a cross coming into the box from a right footer.
100%. He's always said the box is his office, and he will score goals if he gets it in the box. And I think ultimately, when he is on the pitch, I don't think we are doing that enough. Which is why I think I perhaps was a bit harsh on Rajovic before. But I think the problem with him is that when we don't have the ball, I don't think he's doing enough. I don't think Watford do enough for him when we have the ball. When we're off the ball, I don't think he does enough either. So I think it's a bit going both ways. I think he has to do more, and I think the team has to do more. But on the whole, I just think we have to find a striker who can do both, to be honest with you.
Tough in January.
Very
tough in January.
Very.
Would you? I mean, potentially could dip into that low market to the end of the season, but it's going to be tough to get. I mean, we paid $1 million for Rajovic. Can you see us spending that again in January? I can't personally, unless it's a free agent or a loan.
No, I don't think we can, unless, like you say, unless it's a free agent or a loan. I don't think we'll spend too much in January. If you haven't seen it yet, check out Jacob and Charlie's video, 5 players who we should sign in January.
Link in the description below. Make sure you like, subscribe.
I don't think either. I don't think they're going to prioritise a striker, to be honest with you. I think they're going to mainly be looking at that centre-back role. I think they're going to be looking at that right-back position now as well, with Ngakia out. We don't know when he's back. And I think they're going to be looking at the central midfield role as well. So I think those 3 positions are what the board should be looking at. For me, it's if Backman goes, I think it's the goalkeeper, the centre mid and the striker, like I've said for a while. So January will be really interesting, and it's just around the corner. The window opens next week. It's scary, isn't it?
Really scary, really scary. As Sam said, we did do a video on it, 5 players we think Watford should sign this January. So if you haven't checked out, make sure you do. Link is in the description below. Sam, looking ahead now to New Year's, you're spending your first day of 2024 in Plymouth, away. How are you looking forward to that, mate?
Always buzzing to see Watford away nowadays, which is a nice change from the start of 2023. I mean, I saw Watford win away at Norwich and didn't see Watford win away again until December. So,
wow. God, I went to that one as well. That was Bio Saga into the byline. Espria played that lovely ball, didn't he, down the channel?
Yeah, wow, and Mario Gaspar in centre mid as well.
Bakuna?
It's been quite a year to be a Watford fan, hasn't it? Wow. Look, I think coming. It's going to be a really, really tough game at Plymouth. They gave us a really, really tough game. Our second game of the season at home against them was a really, really difficult game where we drew 0-0. Bio missed a great chance there, ironically, as well. But look, I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing this Watford team. What they showed again tonight was fight, desire, courage. Cojones, exactly. The word is right there. And shout out to Mr. Troydini now managing at Forest Green. Fair play to him. So yeah, I'm excited to see them play again.
Yeah, a lot of character in that second half. I think, as we said at the top of the show, the circumstances that team found themselves in to show that resilience and character from 54 minutes to 94 was really, really impressive. Sam will be back probably, maybe not before Plymouth. Might not. After Plymouth.
Wow.
So if you see Sam in Plymouth, make sure you go and say hello. If you're down here for next Watford match day, which will be next Saturday, I believe, Chesterfield on the 6th of January. Make sure you do come down here to the Mad Squirrel. Great beer. We've had a nice pints of sumo on this cold Friday evening. It's that weird time, isn't it, between Christmas and New Year's, when no one knows what day it is. Make sure you do leave a like on the video. Subscribe to WD18. Follow myself, Jacob_Culshaw, Twitter, Instagram, Sam
Ucko.
at WD18 fans for WD18 content, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and up the audits.